guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so grateful for the new subscribers, so grateful for the guys who are following this series that I started. This is the pregnancy series that I started, and I'm so excited that naipenda, and I am actually very excited to share this with you because I got to learn some things, and I would also like to share so that yeah, at least you can know what the other things that comes with pregnancy. Not all the time, but in some instances. So today I want to talk about the birth story. So today I'm going to talk about how I went to hospital, the giving birth, and yeah, let's just see where we will traffic here. But thank you so much for the new subscribers. Asanteni sana. Please, if you've not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and share this video, and thank you so much for your support. Asante. So, in the other video in the other video, I stopped at where I went to the hospital, and the doctor told me that I would need to be induced because the number of weeks and days that I were past the standard number of weeks and days someone should be when pregnant. They were beyond. Yeah. So that day I went as a routine visit to the hospital. I hadn't carried anything. So the doctor told me that we will need to induce you right now. Like that day. Yeah, that day. So, but luckily I had packed the things that I would need at home. So my mom just came and picked the bag and just a few clothes, and that was it. But the baby's things were packed, so that was so easy. So she left me at the hospital and came pick the things and brought them to me. So at the hospital I got admitted, and my gynecologist he is the best. The best. Guys, I don't think I've told you, but during pregnancy and after, he was the best. Like, it wasn't even just professionally, like he wasn't there for me professionally, he was also there for me as a friend. He was a counselor for me, and I would talk to him and I would tell him, what is bothering me, and he would just listen and tell me, advise me basically. And he was a friend, a doctor to me. He was such a nice man, and I am so grateful for him. So I got admitted to the hospital, and now it was just it was just the admission process where I get to write the name, and all that. So I changed into the hospital attire. I remember I went and I was given a bed in the labor ward. So I wasn't feeling anything at that moment. Like, yeah. So I was called into a procedural room where I would later go to give birth in that same room. So I was told to sit the same way as I described during the insertion and the removal of the McDonald's stitch. Is the same way I was instructed to sit in this place. So it was the same chair-ish, and I sat there, and what they were doing, they wanted to puncture my amniotic sac. I think that's what it's called. They wanted to puncture my amniotic sac so that the water can come out, the amniotic fluid can come out, and it did. But the process. Okay, when it was coming out, I was asking the nurse, okay, what is happening? I think I'm peeing. Okay, it had that impression, like I could feel something is coming out, but not pee, because you know how pee feels, but I'm like, there's something pouring out. Yeah. So that's how it feels basically. You feel like you're peeing, but it's not pee, it's something else. You can't explain. So that happened, and she told me they are puncturing it, and after that I was just given a pad, and I was told to go back to my bed. So while I was there, food was brought, and I ate. And after that, a nurse came. She came, and now it was time to start the inducing process. So she came with the first bottle, and after the puncturing of the amniotic fluid, I started feeling funny. Like I could feel like contractions, but za umbali. Like I could feel like minor contractions. Like I could feel something was happening. So I told her, and she was like, yeah, and she put the syringe on me, and she started the drip, the inducing drip. I think the drip is, I don't know if I should say, but it's a particular hormone that is put, and now it will help your cervix to your uterus to contract, start the constructing, construct.
Stop it. Get some help.
The contractions to make your body start the contractions. Now, at this time, it was at 6 in the evening. So I was just there. I was so psyched, guys. I was so psyched. Yani, I was just like, is that pain? Like, I can't feel anything. I was, the contractions started slowly, very slowly. And guys, remember, after my McDonald's stitch was removed, I was 3 centimeters, like because of the way my cervix was. The initial measurements of my cervix were 3. In most cases, they are 1 centimeters, but mine, remember, guys, it was an incompetent cervix, so it was at 3 centimeters. I got to, yeah. So this time I was just walking. I'd go up this, no, not up the stairs because I had the drip. I would just walk while holding that thing that holds the drip. I would just walk with it. I really wanted to be active because I had read in the group that I had mentioned that I needed to be active during that time. It was now dark. I think it was around 8 or 7. I think it was around 8. By this time, now the contractions had started to get closer. Yeah, so what happens when your cervix is, if it still has a long way to go, like maybe it's at 1 centimeter, or when you're starting contractions, basically what happens is, so a contraction comes like for seconds, a minute, and then it disappears. Now this period of disappearing is what shows if you're nearing, like if the cervix is wide enough for the baby to come out. What I'm trying to say is, when now the baby is about to come out, you'll have a contraction and then a second or two of a break, or even no break, and then you go to the next contractions. You get, now here in the start you have like a minute or two of no pain, of no contractions, and then you get a contraction. But by this time, it's because the cervix has not reached its maximum for the baby to come out. You get. So by this time, they had checked. Yeah, so I was feeling the pain, and when the pain would, when the cycle would get closer together, that's when they would check. When the pain would get so intense and with very little rest time, that's when I would just tell them, just check nimefika wapi, just check. So the intervals at which they checked was, remember the first time it was 3 centimeters. The initial measurement was 3 centimeters, and then I remember the second time it was at 5 centimeters. It's supposed to reach at 10 centimeters for you to give birth, for the baby, now for them to start the push and all that whole process that you're familiar with. So during this time of the contractions, first of all, I didn't want anyone to touch me because me, I don't know, me, I was in pain. I told you guys my pain is the first and the one where you feel it 8D, 10D. Like, yeah. You know, there's some people during the birth process, they're usually so chilled. Like, me now. And there was this amazing nurse who was with me, like, the whole time. She was a lady nurse and she was so nice. She was there. She would just tap me and tell me to how to breathe and how to calm down. And she would ask me, how you feeling, unasikiaje, and she was so nice. She was so nice. And you know, she was on night duty, so she will also check on the other patients. So she will rush and go and check on the other patients, and then she will rush back and ask me, how you doing, ukwaje, ukupua. I don't know. I just thank you so much to that nurse. And so she would be there with me. So by the way, guys, the funniest thing, during that whole time, during the contractions and all that, first of all, I didn't sit down like the whole time. When I would sit down, now that's when the pain. But then I was being advised not to sit, to lie down if I want to rest. But I think when I would go to lie down, the pain would come, the contractions would come. I don't know. They would just come and the pain, bro. It's out of this world. So I was told not to sit down because you might compress the baby's head. Probably it has dropped or something. But yeah, I was told not to sit down. And what I will be told, when you're tired and they see you're tired, they just tell you to lie down. But now lying down was an issue. So I just stood like the whole time. And now going to the toilet, I think guys, I got okay during the contraction when they were starting to get intense. I think after the 5 centimeter. Now this time I think it's around 10 or 11 at night. So because of the progressive, I think right now I was on my second bottle of the drug they were giving me for the contractions, the inducing drug. I was on my second bottle by this time. So one thing that was so when I needed to go to the toilet, when I needed to pee or poop, they would bring me a karai. So my mom was there, so she would bring me a karai, and then I would pee there. They didn't want me to risk going to the toilet and then the baby comes out. Once when it was number two, no. I would do it there. Okay, now you know, the only people who could see me were the nurse and my mom and the doctor because it came to check and see how I'm progressing. So what would happen is when I feel like peeing, the akarai would be brought. But then the funny thing was, every time the pain would be so intense, and yani ile place yenye uchungu ingepungua was at the window, and guys, I was screaming. From I think 9 to the time that I went into the labor now to give birth, I was screaming. When the contractions would come, I would scream because guys, it was painful for me. But people describe it as it was just a walk in the park. But me, I would scream because guys, I would feel the pain. And now, they say the drug. I don't know. I am not saying anything with scientific proof, but the drug speeds up and intensifies the pain to some extent. So now the pain, Hey. So the place where I would feel less pain or comfortable was at the window. So now I don't know if that night if people slept that whole night. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't, like it was so intense until the watchman of the hospital would come and check like what's happening. Like guys, mko sure this is what is supposed to happen. But yeah, so that happened, and the next time they measured me, I think I was around 7 centimeters. So this time the third bottle of the inducing medicine was put. I thought it was a one bottle assignment, but guess what? So by this time, yeah, I was 7 centimeters, and this time I was so me. If you touch me, if you do anything, me, I was so angry. Like I wouldn't want anyone to touch me. Like except the nurse. Me, I don't know. She just had a weird touch, a nice touch. Me, I don't know, but she was the only person who I wanted her near me, giving in a message. But yeah, so when I got to around 9 centimeters, by this time, now this time when I was around 7, because of the slow process that was going on, the doctor took another patient to theater. So he went to theater to help to now perform a CS procedure on another patient. By this time now, I'm 9 centimeters. But me now, I get to 9 centimeters when the nurse checked. I was at 9 centimeters. So by this time, I was just like, no, me, I want to go to the labor room. Like, I was another person, to be very honest. I was like, no, I want to go to the labor room right now, right now. Na nikakatalia hapo kwa mlango. Like me, I was in pain. You know, guys, pain. And then this drip is still dripping. Like, it's still doing the thing. Me, I was just like, no, I am not getting out of here. Mbaka, I went because it was just there. So I just went to the like, hey. I never felt pain until you're like manners aside, dignity aside. So yeah, so I went in and I just got on the chair. I was like, call the doctor because honestly, it's getting so painful. So by this time, it was that time that I was telling you guys. So the contractions were with no or 1 second break. They were so intense, and then now they're intense, like intense. You feel like they were so intense by this time and so close together, so you can imagine what I'm saying. And contraction are like this, like the way I'm demonstrating, you just feel this, like yeah. And yeah, so they're close together now. But again, in the start, they are like, they just go progressively until they're like this. Yeah. So this time, so the doctor was informed that I'm nearing 10 centimeters and he needs to come. But obviously, he can't speed up the CS procedure because that's another patient who needs priority care. So we are down here waiting for me to get to 10 centimeters because they can't start while I'm at 9. It needs to be 10 so that the baby can come out well. So I am in pain, guys. I am screaming. Oh my god, guys. It was just, me, I'm telling you, niliachia manners na dignity uko kwa gate. Because where me screamed, I was screaming, I was shouting. You just start saying prayers and what? Anyway, so the doctor finally came. He was done with that procedure. So by this time, I was pulling people's clothes. Like the nurse, I would touch. Hey, you guys. So yeah, so we started the bathing procedure now, the pushing, the one that you see in movies. But now, when you're told to push, you're not supposed to push like No. There's a particular way you're supposed to push that you're not supposed to be making that sound. When you're making that sound, you're doing it the wrong way. So there's a particular way you're supposed to push. And so now getting to that pushing, knowing it is because you didn't go for classes and you're told this is how you're pushing. So it was just right there and then they're telling me push like this, push like this. And yeah, so because of the screaming that went on and the shouting that was there before, this time my energy was ilikuwa inaisha. So pushing was an issue. Yeah. And I was being told, stop shouting. But then, you can't stop shouting because that's the only way you feel the pain is getting relieved. So, by this time, So, what happened was by this time it was around 1 in the morning. 1 in the morning. So, the doctor, by this time, now, me by there, I was so stubborn. That whole time, I was so stubborn. I can't lie to you guys. I was so stubborn. I'm not proud, but that's not how you're supposed to be. But I was so stubborn. So, like, during that time, I would feel like I want to go to the toilet, but I think that was the baby trying to come out something. So, I would the doctor will be like, no, you're not supposed to go to the toilet right now. I'm like, but since you guys bring the karai, but they can't because it's like, yeah. So I would go to the toilet with the nurse, and then the nurse is like, stand, mama. Then we'd go back to the bed because it's nothing. So by this time, yeah, I'm just like, doctor, let's just go to theater. This was set up for a normal bath. So I'm like, Doctor, okay, please, let's just go to theater. Just take me to theater because you're feeling pain. The baby is not coming out. He was not coming out. And so it was just like, guy, please, just take me to theater. It's okay. Just do whatever you want to do for this baby to come out. So the baby, by that time, like, he wasn't coming out. The head wasn't showing. There was no movement. And ta-ra-ra. So what happened was, I think by this time, now what happened, I got back to the bed. So he was like, okay, let's try again. So what happened was, when I got back to bed, my energy was literally at zero. Like me, nilikuwa nimeisha. So I would be told to push. Nilikuwa naambiwa ni push, and then now I sleep. Because I am exhausted. Like my body couldn't take no more. So I would find myself sleeping. So the doctor would wake me up. Amka, Amka. Wow. So it'd be like, wake up. The nurse is waking me up. He's like, wake up. And I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm giving birth. Oh. Yeah, okay, let's do this. And then I push, and then I sleep. And then they wake me up. So they just so trashinda hapa, talala hapa. So the nurse came. She came on on the upper part of my tummy. She put her hand like this there. And then down here, the doctor cut my perineal area. That process is called an episiotomy. He basically did an episiotomy on me. He cut my vagina so that there would be more access. So by this time, they realized the baby was big. And so they cut me. Yeah. So the nurse was up here. I would be told, push. And then the nurse would press downwards. I don't know if you guys can see. She would press downwards, something like that. And I would now, and then yeah. So basically, that's what was happening. So that happened for a while, and I don't know, there was something I could feel the doctor doing down there. And when he would touch somewhere, I don't know, there was somewhere he would touch, and I would get the urge. I don't know, you just feel how you're supposed to push. You just feel the urge. And he would tell me, when push when you get the urge. Don't push just because like you push when you get the urge from the start to the end. Push when you get the feeling, when you get the urge. Don't push when you're calm, when your body is calm. So yeah, so there's a place, I don't know, he would touch and it would activate and it would give me that urge. So I would push and push and push. And so the baby came out some few minutes to 3. And by this time I was just worn out. The sleeping and the waking up was still going on, by the way. So me didn't even know an episiotomy was happening because I was so sleep. I just saw the doctor being passed through. Uh, uh that thing that is put the scissors and everything, and then I slept. And then I woke up again, and then someone was yeah. So it was crazy. I was so worn out, and so after that, so the baby came out. So now the baby wasn't crying. He wasn't crying. He was getting choked. So he got to drink some of the fluid or something. So now he was getting choked. So me, I'm so drowsy, so low. I don't know. I don't even understand what is happening. So now I see the baby getting held now by the leg, and I see the doctor rushing to something, and then he put a suction tube in the baby, and for a few minutes, like he did that for a few minutes. After he did that, the baby now cried. The baby now cried. So this time now, the the baby now akavalishwa, he was wiped, and then the clothes that I had were put on him. Now we're back to me. Hey guys, no, you think it's over. Just when you think it's over, it's not over. So remember that I had mentioned um that an episiotomy process was done on me. So now it was time to sew it up. And by this time I hadn't even held the baby. Because of that whole process of getting sanctioned, and he needed to stay in that. It was like a mini incubator ish. So he needed to stay there for a few minutes to get warm and for the shock creation. So I didn't hold him. And so now it was time, now it was back to the mother. So by this time I am so tired, like I can't even tell you what's happening. So I remember the nurse came and she was trying to sew me up now because I had an episiotomy and tear. So while the baby was coming out, I had a tear in that process. So now, by the guys, I didn't mention. So now, when the baby came out, there was the weighing after the sanction, and he was okay. They weighed him, and he was 4.6 kgs. He was 4.6 kgs. So that I will talk about in the next video, and with everything that came with and everything that happened after the bath. And so thank you guys so much for viewing this video. Asanteni sana. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you so much for the subscribers. If you've not subscribed, hapo tu finger, and thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and comment. Is anything, if you know what an episiotomy is, please tell me in the comment section. And thank you so much. Asanteni sana 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 sana.